Hello, everyone. My name's Sergey. I am from Russia, but at the moment I live in India, in Mumbai. This video is for informational purposes only and is intended mostly for a traditional Indian audience. If there is a response to this video, then in the future I would like to touch upon the fields of cultural studies, social activities, and economics. I will get straight to the main point. In a few words, I will tell you about my last visit to India. I visited my friends, Hindus, whom I have known for more than 5 years. I visited the city of Bhubaneswar. I visited a lot of places. In particular, I was also in Puri, not far from the Jagannath Puri temple. And it was then that I learned about the prophecy, which is written in the book Bhagavata Purana, that from a northern country, apparently this means Russia, a certain white man will come and steal Jagannath. That is why there is a lot of security around the Jagannath temple in Puri, and that is why they do not allow people into the temple. Practically no one, except for traditional Hindus, they don't let in Europeans, they don't let in non-traditional Hindus. In fact, I would like to clarify a little about this prophecy. And it is also said in the book Bhagavata Purana that this prophecy will come true during the final cycle of Kali Yuga, before the transition to Satya Yuga, that is, into the Golden Age. Here, you need to understand one very important point, that Jagannath himself will not allow himself to be stolen, but will voluntarily express a desire to visit Siberia in his spiritual form, precisely at the sunset of the age of Kali Yuga. And at the very significant and pivotal moment when Jagannath, the legendary figure, moves or transitions to the distant region of Siberia, this event, in my personal and considered opinion, will, I believe, be marked and signified by the unfolding of the events that lie at the very heart and core of another ancient and mysterious legend, which specifically mentions and refers to a great and monumental battle between traditional Hinduism, which is an ancient and deeply rooted religion, and so-called barbarians, who are described as people that look like Asians. The intermediate territory that lies between India and the larger Asian landmass is, from a logical and geographical standpoint, generally considered to be part of Russia. This area, which serves as a transitional region, connects the Indian subcontinent with the broader expanse of Asia, and is most often identified as Russian territory due to its significant presence and influence in this part of the world. And here we can infer or assume the fact that this particular battle could potentially happen at the very moment when, considering all the circumstances surrounding the timing, the cycle of Kali Yuga, which is the last of the 4 stages the world goes through as part of the cycle of yugas described in Hindu scriptures, will eventually come to an end. At that time, the forces of light, representing all that is good, pure, and righteous, will enter into a decisive and climactic battle with the forces of darkness, which symbolize evil, ignorance, and chaos. Here, well, if we try to put this concept into modern language and contemporary terms, we can interpret this significant and momentous event as a great and epic battle of advanced technologies and ideologies. In today's world, this technological force is most prominently represented by China, which is often depicted in the form of a powerful, ever-progressing dragon. On the other side, standing against this technological might, is the Army of Light, which will be represented by the enduring traditions of Hinduism, and of course by Russia, with its rich and deeply rooted Slavic culture, as well as its foundational Christian Orthodox culture, which has been the dominant spiritual and cultural force in Russia for many centuries, shaping its identity and values. At that crucial and pivotal moment when this monumental battle finally takes place, though no one knows exactly when it will occur, as the timing remains a mystery, Jagannath himself, the revered deity, will cross over to Russia's side in order to join the fight against the forces of evil. These forces of evil, if we use modern language and contemporary understanding, can be seen as representing an uncontrollable and potentially dangerous artificial intelligence, a force that many people, perhaps unwittingly, will choose to follow. In particular, it is reasonable to assume that this force will be led by an Eastern country, most likely China, with the active participation and support of several Western countries as well. At that decisive moment, Jagannath will move to Russia, and before the festival of Diwali, which is the celebration of the victory of light over darkness, he will take Russia's side, standing firmly with those who uphold the light and righteousness in this epic struggle. This army of Hindus and Russians will be accompanied by the foundational religion of Christianity, Orthodox Christianity, led by Archangel Michael, who will also oppose the forces of evil. This event, as we have projected and according to our well considered assumptions, is expected to take place specifically on the vast and expansive territory of Siberia. This is particularly significant for the lands belonging to the country that, as of today, possesses a remarkable multitude of valuable resources and extensive territories, which are truly incomparable to those of any other country in the world. This battle will have an eschatological character, and those kshatriyas and warriors who will participate on the side of light from India and Russia will have the significant opportunity, based on the guiding principles of Dharma, the discipline and practice of yoga, and the profound and transformative concept of moksha, to enter the cycle and the time of eternity, an infinite and boundless space. This path will be the shortest way for Hindus to leave samsara and enter directly through battle. Dharma yoga, which entails a voluntary sacrifice directly into the space of eternity. This will also apply to all Slavic tribes and communities. And of course, Orthodox Christians, who inherently carry the knowledge of the shortest path through Jesus Christ towards eternity, to the kingdom of heaven. This battle will be victorious for Orthodox Christians and for Hindus. Again, I want to emphasize, and I cannot stress this enough, that those who come to participate in this, the greatest and most significant battle of all, will be granted an express and unique opportunity to leave behind the endless repeating cycle of samsara and to transition, to move forward, to moksha, true liberation, to eternity itself, and to enter into a new, vast space of civilizations, as well as into those extraordinary worlds that have been carefully prepared and are waiting on the other side of life. This is a momentous chance, a rare occasion, not to be overlooked. Each nation will have its own space. For Orthodox Christians, it will be the kingdom of heaven. As for warriors, as for those who sacrifice their lives for their comrades, for their lands, for the Slavic tribes, it will be a space of eternity, a realm that is everlasting and infinite, prepared and created by God Himself. Also in the heavenly abodes, which are the divine dwellings above, but of a different meaning and significance, unrelated to the Christian civilization. For the Indian people, it will also be a space and a civilization prepared on the other side of life. Abodes where they will be able to exist in bliss and nirvana. By the way, regarding traditional Buddhism, we can also mention it in these events and say that Buddhists were among the very first to recognize and acknowledge today's ongoing war, which is currently taking place on the territory of modern Ukraine against the powerful forces of the West. In Russia, they were the very first people from traditional faiths who acknowledged and recognized this notable event. What is the main idea here? At the moment the cycle of Kali Yuga ends before Satya Yuga, the Golden Age. In the period when the Great War will be waged, or when it is just beginning, Jagannath will voluntarily and spiritually cross to the side of Russia, to the side of the forces of light, led by Orthodox Christianity, led by the host of Archangel Michael. He will serve Russia and will also fight against the forces of evil. in which Jagannath will invite Hindus through Dharma yoga, good inner intention and sacrifice, through war, through death, to leave the wheel of samsara. And those kshatriyas who hear the voice of Jagannath and follow him will be able to enter the space of moksha and eternity, inheriting the abodes of the Hindu civilization. This is the main idea, according to which Jagannath will be present in the territory of Siberia. After that, after the victory over the forces of evil, he will return to India. In the Vedic scriptures of Indian literature, there is also a legend that during the life of Jesus Christ, from about 14 to 30 years old, he was present in India, was in the territory of Puri and in other places, and spoke of one God, the Creator, the Maker. And this fascinating legend, which has been passed down through many generations, still exists to this very day in India. It does not relate to the canonical Orthodox doctrine, but it does exist. Just as Jesus Christ once walked the lands of India, according to the legend of Vedic literature, so too will Jagannath have to serve the one Creator in the image of Krishna, in the image of Kalki, the last avatar, and thereby provide the opportunity for salvation to Hindus by allowing them to go through the necessary spiritual process, experiencing the required rituals and practices. This shortest path through sacrifice, through courage and pure intention, and a desire to dwell in eternity. In the next video, I will tell you about the purpose of my visit to India, and will answer your questions if any arise. Thank you all.